Very excited to introduce Chad Sakac, who probably doesn't need an introduction, VP of Strategy and Business Transformation for Tanzu, and one of the driving forces behind the first joint Kubernetes offering from VMware and Pivotal. No one understands the firepower of Tanzu and Dell Technologies better than Chad. He's a longtime EMC executive as former president of Converged Platforms and Solutions Division, and is the author of the blog virtualgeek.io.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I want to make sure I can see everybody. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you very much for the very kind intro, Courtney. Let me know, anybody, if you can't see my slides or any of the points where I jump off to a bit of a off the beaten track, a little bit of a demo.
We're good.
I want to talk to everybody about Tanzu Your Way. So, and we're going to do it in this awesome lickety split format that we have. First of all, I think it's very important to understand where we have a firm opinion. And you've heard it before inside this discussion. You've heard it from Carol up front. You've heard it from Boz. You've heard it from Vijay at Northern Trust. You've heard it from many of us, which is that we know that this is a priority for our customers, and we know that they're not sufficiently progressing. That's frustrating, particularly when we also know, and we're strongly opinionated, that it can have incredible business outcomes for them in terms of their velocity. And it can have incredible outcomes for them in that 5S framework that you saw from Arnie, where they're able to have the combination of speed of iteration, that speed of bringing an idea in their path to production, and they're able to do it with security and with speed and with stability and with savings at the end of the day. Now the question here is like, if this is what we're very opinionated about, it says we need to help our customers make further progress. And on that, we're very opinionated. However, we're very flexible when it comes to some of the who, some of the what, and some of the how. And this is actually, it's been interesting to think about some of the questions that have come up in the Q&A that I've been trying to answer as we go through this. The first part in the who, and Arnie talked about this, you heard about this from Matt Baker as well, bringing together the cats and the dogs so they live together in harmony. Bringing together ops and dev is an inevitable part of the success stories that we see at all of our customers. However, as you've heard through this, there's a very clear pattern about what resonates with them differently. Our opinion is that you have to tackle both the app down and the infra up dimensions of these problems, and the whole Tanzu portfolio is designed to address that. But it's important to recognize that they have these very distinct areas of focus. When Baz was talking about the Tanzu editions that we have, you can see that they're very much structured to be targeting the who's inside the personas. As Baz said, if you just want Kubernetes and you want it on premises in vSphere, that's what Tanzu Basic is there for. If you want to have a consistent Kubernetes that can be deployed in a multi-cloud fashion, again, one of our strongly held opinions, is that the multi-cloud pattern is the pattern that is the reality. Then Tanzu Standard starts to become more of a fit, but both of them are very directed at the DevOps, the infrastructure ops personas. And then our offerings, as you've heard about from Arnie, and we'll talk about later on in the day, they're more focused at the dev experience. How do we accelerate their path to production, which is really their North Star? How can they go from code to production more quickly? The value propositions of advanced and enterprise are very much focused on them. Opinionated on the why, very, very flexible on the who, because our experience is that it's not about one of these two personas. We have to solve the problem for both of them, and that's what we do with the Tanzu editions. Now, another area where we're very, very flexible is in the what. So first of all, I love Lego, and it is the season of the holiday season, and there's going to be lots and lots of children in our families that will be getting Lego, including this one. I love Lego because who doesn't like to build things? it's very important to understand that this Tanzu commitment towards the upstream open source ecosystems is deep and profound. And you will hear about this from Craig in the next session. We are leveraging the CNCF open ecosystem, and I'm just going to quickly stop sharing this for a moment and just share my screen. No, not that, hang on. Share screen, stop this screen, share my browser. Can you see the CNCF ecosystem on here now?
Yes, we can see it.
Now, it's very important to understand that we are actively contributing because we believe that the open source dynamic is actually the thing that creates flexibility and choice for our customers. If I zoom in on this and we just took a quick little navigate, there are projects that we are significant contributors to, like things that people don't normally associate with us, like Postgres and MySQL, to some projects where we've contributed them almost completely, like buildpacks.io, and Bitnami is now part of Tanzu overall. Other projects that we've contributed that have become really the core part of the CNCF, like Contour, or perhaps one of the strongest examples is what we've done around core container image registries with Harbor. So if you can see, the Harbor has become the CNCF graduated project. Now, the only reason I bring this up is that people don't normally associate VMware, brand associate us with open source. But we are very, very flexible in some of the how, because we believe that this open source ecosystem and alignment with it is extremely important. Now, continuing on in the how, this how it's actually consumed can be in every stage from construct to consume. Frankly, coming back to this, some customers will actually just take the open source projects themselves and mix and match them. Now, I think, as someone who loves Lego, I think everyone can understand some of the appeal of that. It's basically completely unconstrained and totally open. It's very important that we are open and leave this choice open for our customers, because that flexibility is important and alignment with the ecosystem is important. However, what we've discovered in practice, I think, resonates with most enterprises, which is they need a bridge that bridges the open source ecosystem with the enterprise. The next phase of moving towards construct and assembly are the Tanzu packages. And lots of questions came up. And it's interesting because we emphasize how we've made it so simple to consume that people are like, hey, do I have to do it that way? And the answer is no. You can take any one of these, you can take Tanzu standard and you could use it on top of VCF and on top of VxRail. But if you wanted to use the components of it on top of a PowerEdge server or on top of anything that's on top of the VMware HCL, you could absolutely do that. And as you heard from Arnie and you heard from Matt and also from the other Matt, the ability to run these capabilities on top of the cloud of your choice is extremely important. And in fact, you heard about this from Arnie. The Tanzu mission control kind of consistent management model here, you can literally see it. It's a consistent API-driven model using the standard abstractions that are part of the CNCF and Kubernetes ecosystem, but are able to harmonize across all of these different heterogeneous multi-cloud environments. It's pretty cool. However, I have my own opinion, and my own opinion is a little bit born out of years of experience with customers and work, which is that the most important thing for most customers is actually the things above the infrastructure part of the stack, which is why the consume it route for Tanzu on top of VxRail and VCF is so important to all of us. It allows customers to take their standard, their building block built on top of vSphere and using VxRail, but it now has modern app-ready capabilities in it. Why? It enables them to simplify, standardize, and ultimately keep their eye on the ball, which is really about the things you heard from VJ at Northern Trust, that you hear from TD Ameritrade and from Schwab and from many others, which is you save your energy on what matters. And this will be my last little sidebar, quick demonstration. I think that this is really, really kind of cool for anyone who has made investments in themselves, in their career, in their infrastructure to standardize on vSphere. To see this in action is compelling. And I'm actually connecting here to a real-time lab environment. So hopefully you can still see my screen and this works. Inside vSphere 7, inside VxRail 7.0, things that are natural, all the things that we've been talking about, which is, hey, these are the ideas that to any VI admin comes second nature. They see ESX hosts, they see VMs, but now they see namespaces, which is basically a Kubernetes construct. They see pods and VMs coexisting at the same time. And furthermore, we haven't just kind of like layered this on top of vSphere. We've actually rebuilt the core franchise of VMware around these Kubernetes-based designs.
I love it. So
it's really, really cool. And again, I really appreciate the time in the session, everybody.
Always be demoing, right, Chad?
Always be demoing.
Always be demoing. I love it. Yeah, no, and that's pretty powerful. Kit did an interesting thing at the kickoff where he had a split screen and he showed on one side the developer using kubectl, and on the other side, the VI admin using vCenter, and you can see when they manipulate the constructs, each one gets their own view into that, and it's very, very powerful.
And you know, that redesign of vSphere to make Kubernetes built in is part one of 2 phases. The next phase is the Project Monterey stuff that will show up in the next few years. So very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and over to you, Laura.